everyone. Welcome to Super Summit, yet another session that I'm personally very excited about. So today I have, someone who I have the privilege of calling a friend, someone who's been, who I have been interacting since superops.ai was formed, the founder of Tech Tribe, and someone who's been a former MSP owner himself, and the author of package pricing and profit, the go-to book for someone who wants to kind of model their MSP pricing. And someone we all know, right? Someone we all know. So if you're in the MSP space, there is a very little chance that you wouldn't know this guy. Nigel Moore, welcome to Super Summit.
Hello, g'day. I don't know how everybody knows me out there, but somehow every time I speak to someone, they go, "Man, I see your face everywhere." I don't know why. I think I've probably been on too many podcasts nowadays. That might be
No. That's what happens when you're too famous and you're doing too many good things, right? Through Tech Tribe. So people are always speaking about you.
Yep. Oh, well, that's me. I'm normally someone that likes hiding behind the scenes on things, but sometimes when you're promoting a business, you just got to be out there on the front and whatnot. So I am seen somewhere around the place.
Yes. Nigel, to be very honest, you don't, at least for me, come across as someone who wants to be behind the scene. I see you as someone, who brings a lot of energy, who's packed with a lot of insights, who loves being in front of the camera. So yeah.
And we're already gonna digress into something completely different here. But for me, 15 years ago, I was the most introverted nerd that you will ever meet in your life. Like there was no way I could go into a networking room and talk to people. I couldn't even go into the room, let alone stand in the corner of the room. And it's only been like over the past 10 years, 15 years, I've had to go through this work on myself to be confident at talking to a camera and to be confident talking to people, because I was the world's worst introvert out there. But I knew deep down inside that I wanted to go out and serve and do more and be more and whatever. And to do that, I had to get over all these crazy fears and beliefs I had about myself that came from childhood. So you might see me on camera as happy and lucky and excited, which is me. It's just completely different to the me 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was back then.
Yes, fair enough. To being an extremely introverted to running one of the biggest networking communities in the MSP space, I think you've come a long way, to be honest. So, let's get into the topic. So we are going to be discussing about marketing trends or marketing, tactics that MSPs need to be implementing based on what you saw in 2021 or probably 2020. So what's the one big trend that you saw in 2021 that it's going to be carrying forward to 2022?
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest trends, and this is more a scary trend for a lot of people, is or a lot of MSPs. It's one of those things that should scare you into action, is that there are a lot of MSPs out there now that are really starting to become mature with their marketing engine, really starting to get the wheels turning and the cogs turning to make their marketing work really well. And so if you rewind like 5 years ago, maybe even less, and you looked into the marketing space in the MSP world, there was very few MSPs doing it very well at all. So you just had to turn up and you could put a shingle out on the wall and you'd start to get some clients. But nowadays, like, competition has heated up like crazy. And in the last year or so, I've really noticed that there is this gap happening between the MSPs that are really maturing their marketing efforts and really doubling down on their marketing efforts, and the MSPs that aren't. And that gap is going to get wider and wider and wider. And so on a broad level, we're not talking about tactics yet, but on a broad level, I'm seeing this maturity of marketing happen across the board and happen really well for the people that are diving into it. And so that's probably the biggest trend I have seen in the space at the moment. And then there's obviously all the tactics that go along with that, and we can dive into some of them if you want to as well. But the trend is kind of alarming and opportunistic at the same time. The whole thing is, if you want to grow your MSP, you can't just do it based on being good at tech anymore. You've got to get in and you've got to be intentional about building a marketing engine. You can't get by with it relying on word of mouth referrals if you want to grow an MSP of any potential in there. And so you've got to dig in and become one of those MSPs that is good at marketing, that is maturing their marketing, that is going in, diving in and using all the great tactics out there that work when you do them properly and consistently out there.
Yes, fair enough. I think this pandemic, where a lot of them got back to work from home, kind of has forced the MSPs also to, adopt a lot of digital means to market, right? Before that, it was just cold calling, knocking on the doors, and, going door to door. So so now, you are forced to kind of spend on marketing. You are forced to think brand. You are forced to think, hey, what am I bringing to the table? How am I kind of different from the MSP next door, right? Yeah. So since you spoke about, let's say, marketing, bridging that gap, or widening the gap between those who market and those who don't. So what do you think are the channels that are aiding this shift, right? Obviously, social is one channel, but are there any other channels that you're seeing that is aiding this trend?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So socials one that is there, but it's not, I'm not seeing a ton of MSPs get huge amounts of clients out of organic social. And by organic social, I mean like building up their Facebook page and posting content and whatever on it. That's normally seen to me as something that's just got to happen behind the scenes, so that if someone's going and doing some due diligence on you or whatever, they can see that your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page or whatever it is has got some content on it. I'm not seeing clients, people get bunches of clients because of that. They don't have clients knocking on their door because of that. It's all the top of the funnel stuff, all the things right up the very top that are working. And I'm seeing a bunch of MSPs still have success in Google Ads. That's one that works really well. The main reason with Google Ads is that you're attracting people that are in pain. You're attracting people that are already ready to buy. They're out there typing in IT provider because they want to change from their existing provider out there. And so you're attracting them. Now, Google Ads it's got pros and cons. Like one of the pros to it is you've got people that are chomping at the bit ready to buy, right? They're ready to go. The cons is you can't just turn a Google ad on and expect to have a client tomorrow from it. Like you've got to spend some significant amounts of money for a smaller MSP before you start to get results. And a lot of that spend in Google Ads is just spending to learn lessons. And with anything in paid traffic or paid campaigns out there, a lot of the spend is just to get your message out there and to get your ads out there or whatever, and see what works and what doesn't, so that you know what to spend more on and what to spend less on. And one of the mistakes I see with a lot of MSPs make, where they'll hear someone say, oh, you got to use Google Ads because Google Ads is how I get all my clients. They'll go out there and they'll go and throw up a Google ad, which is poorly written because they wrote it themselves instead of finding a copywriter to go and write it for them. Then they'll send that Google ad straight to their homepage, which is not a dedicated landing page for the particular campaign they're running. And then they'll go and put $300 or $400 worth of Google ad spend out there. And then they won't get a client or a lead out of it. And they'll throw their hands in the air and say, Google Ads doesn't work. The reality is Google Ads does work. They just made a lot of mistakes, foundational mistakes during that process. And I see that happen all the time. Whereas if you're going to do Google Ads, do it well. And by well, I mean, go out and get a copywriter to help write your ad for you. You can find them everywhere on Upwork or any of those places to find good copywriters. Go and design a landing page specifically for whatever campaign you're going to use. If it's a cybersecurity risk assessment campaign or whatever it happens to be, get a landing page designed properly, and then go and pay someone that knows Google Ads platform properly to figure out how to spend the money on it. Or go and do a proper Google Ads training course yourself on something like Udemy or one of those amazing sites out there to really understand the platform, and then spend enough dollars to actually get a chance at getting results. And on Google Ads, you're typically looking, you're not going to get, especially if you're just getting started, you're not going to get results for under $1,000 or $2,000 worth of ad spend. You've got to spend at least enough to start to get the results in there to learn and get that momentum building. And so Google Ads, I'm seeing that work with all the people that have been doing it for months or years, and they've put that intentional time into landing pages and working all this stuff out. That works incredibly well. And they're getting it down to the point where they're getting clients for $1,000 that are delivering them 15 to 20 grand net revenue each year, like net profit each year, which anybody would go out and throw $1,000 down to get $15,000 worth of net profits each year out there, right? So it does work incredibly well. That's one of the first ones I see. One of the other ones that I see so many smart and mature MSPs doing that a lot of people are turned off by is the old school traditional direct mail approach. And so I'm talking about like print media. Like I got a bunch of it around here. Because we give a bunch out to our members in the tech tribe, but things like the old printed newsletters. Like nicely designed printed newsletters and campaigns. This particular campaign here is, we call it the first class campaign. And it's just a call to action for someone to go and upgrade their IT to first class IT support. And it's just stuff that you go and send out to a database that you go and build. And now the person that we've worked with on some of these campaigns, Jim Stackhouse, he's built his MSP from, I think it was about 3 staff or thereabouts up to, I think he's currently sitting at 35 or 40 staff right now. Directly with just focusing on direct mail, just printed newsletters, printed campaigns, and then going and nurturing those people with follow-up calls and whatnot in there, and postcard campaigns and whatnot. And I'm seeing that as one of the most highest leverage and most highest impact marketing activities out there at the moment. And again, there's a lot of mistakes you can make through that one, and you can throw money against the wall accidentally by not knowing what you don't know when you go and start with direct mail, because you've got to be sending things to the right people and you've got to have the right message and all sorts of things. But I'm seeing people get incredible results like Jim out there, where they're turning every $1,000 dollars they put in, they're turning that into clients that are paying them $1,000 or $2,000 a month out of every $1,000 they put into it, which is awesome when you look at a marketing funnel to get returns like that. And so that's the second one. Like those two ones there are big ones that I see are only going to get more so in 2022, because everybody is going to the old online, like I'm going to try and cold email, or I'm going to try and do all these other things. And they're so, or I'm going to go and advertise in trade mags or whatever it is. And there's a lot of competition in those areas where if you're getting in people's literal hands, like your newsletters or whatever it happens to be, and you do it consistently for enough time, people are getting incredible results out of that. And I'm seeing a number of MSPs do the hard work, put in the right amount of money, be consistent at it, and their marketing then is not just oh cool, we got a client out of it. Their marketing is then very consistent. They're going, okay, we know we're going to get 3 clients this month, and we're going to get 3 clients every single month out of this if we spend this number of dollars in it. And that's what it's all about, is building a consistent, repeatable marketing engine that you know you can put the dollars into, and you're going to get those dollars back out pretty quickly in it.
Yes, fair enough. The point that you made about Google Ads, I think Google kind of rewards people, having personally worked on Google Ads. Something they reward as a quality score based on the keyword that you're bidding for, the landing page relevance, and the ads relevance. So, if you're an MSP out there trying to kind of double down on Google Ads, probably quality score is the metric that, as Nigel said, you need to focus on, right? And it's based on the exact factors that Nigel said: the keyword, the relevance of the keyword and the ad, the relevance of the landing page and the ad. So if you're not going to put effort there, don't expect to kind of have returns. Yes.
Don't do it, because you'll be throwing money against the wall, and it'll just, you're peeing money down the drain. Like there's so much nuance to Google Ads. It's not this thing that you can just throw something up and away it goes. As you said, like you've got this whole notion of negative keywords in there, and your negative keyword list can take you months to go and build that particular part of your process out. But when you get out the other side, you get this repeatable engine that's giving you your deals. And I know one of our other tribal elders in the tech tribe, Jamie Warner, he runs an MSP that's doing, I think he's nearing on $10 million annual revenue in his MSP at the moment. And he's built the back of his MSP off Google Ads. Like he's just focused on Google Ads, where Jim is focused on direct mail and grown to probably similar revenue size there. Jamie's focused on Google Ads and referrals, of course, but his Google Ads, he's just been consistent in it, consistent and just tweaked and tuned and fixed up his negative keywords and just worked really well on the landing page that they send people to, or the page that they send people to, and worked really well on his ads. And he's now got this repeatable engine that he knows that every X number of dollars he puts in every single month turns back into X plus 3 or X times 3 in his engine there. It's taken him time to do it, but there's no easy, quick fix marketing thing that you're going to flick a button and it's going to turn it on. It's going to work for you. You've got to put in the time, but when you do, you get results like Jamie and Jim both are.
Yes, fair enough. I think of our folks who are listening in, so the bigger takeaway apart from the tactics that Nigel has mentioned is, one, be patient with your marketing efforts, right? It's not the magic bullet that you do it once and magically clients turn up at your doorstep and say, hey, please,
we wish.
Yes. So be patient and put in the quality, right? So because recruit the right people, or at least hire the right kind of people from Upwork or freelance platforms to ensure that you get the highest quality of work, be it direct mail, be it Google Ads. Right. So that's the second takeaway for me. And the third thing is be consistent, right? It's not like you do it for 2-3 months and then you say, hey, it's not working. Do it for 12 months, 15, 18, probably, 15 months, 60 months to start seeing consistent results, rather than saying, I tried it for 2 months, it didn't work, so Google Ads is not working, or direct mail is not working.
And that's the thing with, oh, sorry, you finish, you go.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, would you like to add anything to these 3 points?
Oh, absolutely. I do, because I believe in it so darn much and I get so excited about it, is that that consistency is so freaking important. And what I see a lot of MSPs make the mistake of, and I made this mistake myself, so I get how easy it is to make this mistake, is that they will go and try one of those tried and trusted campaigns that's working for a lot of people, and they'll go and try like Google Ads or sending direct mail or whatever it happens to be, and they'll spend too little and they won't be consistent at it, and they'll fail, and then they'll go, okay, this campaign type doesn't work, so now I'm going to go over and try this untested campaign type that no one's ever had results with, and I'm going to make that one work. I'm going to see if that one can work. Instead of, they should have just doubled down on the one that lots of people are getting results with, and figured out why they're not getting results with it and fixed that. But that's a huge mistake, is they take their eye off where they currently are. And as you said, sometimes it can be months before you see a result. And that's hard. You've got to push through this hump of those couple of months. And then, but then if you take your eye off and you go, ah, crap, I've spent $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 here and I haven't got any results yet, I'm going to lift my eyes up and I'm going to move over and look at this other strategy. It's like that old picture that you've probably seen where there's the guy digging for gold underground or digging for the diamonds underground. You can see he's been digging this incredible long tunnel, and then he turns around and he's walking back, and there's a tunnel digger right behind him that digs it's just got to dig that one last step, and you can see there's massive gold mine or a diamond mine directly behind there, and the other guy gave up just that one kind of 1 inch too soon before he got to the gold in there. And I see that exact thing happen with so many MSPs, and I hate it because all of that money that they've thrown into that thousands or whatever it is, it's just gone. All the lessons that you were learning in that particular tactic are all gone now, because you now have to switch across to another marketing tactic and try and learn the lessons in that one now, and you lose all of that momentum. It's a killer for me. I hate it.
Anyway, I'm reminded of this a book by Seth Godin, The Dip.
The Dip.
Where he speaks about, if you're gonna give up something for the short-term stress over the long-term benefit, you're gonna always always gonna be having a losing proposition, right? So if you're gonna for a short-term stress, if you're gonna give something that's long-term, then you lose far more than your peers. So I'm reminded of that. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, that's all right. One thing I'll just say on that, and sorry, I'm horrible at rudely interrupting because I get so bloody excited about this stuff. But one thing I will say on that whole giving up before you do is or before you should is that the point I wanted to make is just disappeared. So I rudely interrupted and then I lost my bloody point.
That's okay.
Anyway, we'll move on to the next thing. If it comes back, I'll let you know. It was so excited to say it that I got bloody sidetracked. But anyway, jump on to the next thing. I'm sure it'll come back. It was a very important point.
But it's okay. I mean, if you remember it, make sure to say it. Make sure to stop me.
I will. Right? If not, then I'm going to keep people, everyone's going to be wanting to know what that highly important point was for the next year until I remember exactly what it was.
Awesome. So, I was going to come to a question. Hey, Nigel, so you know what? The tactics that you mentioned is going to work for someone who's established or, who has some amount of money in the bank, right? So let's say I'm starting an MSP in 2022. How do I get started with these two tactics, right? Because one side, I have a channel where I need to pump in some amount of money consistently to see some results. And on the other side, I have a channel where I need to invest not as much, but still invest some amount of money to ship things and stuff like that. So if I'm an MSP that's starting out, I want to be intentional about how I spend my money on marketing. What should I be doing?
It all comes down to how much capital you got. Like it really comes down. If you've raised capital to start your MSP, you're going to be in a much better space because you can start on some of these paid campaigns immediately out there. If you're just starting up, like when I started up, I was $50,000 in credit card debt. It's running from a dining room table. And I had $0 out there. So I had loads of time, no money. So I had to put my time into my marketing. And so that meant that I had to go out to as many networking events as I possibly could and show my face because I didn't have the dollars to spend on marketing material or Google ads or any of that sort of stuff at that point in time. And so if you're just starting out and you've got no capital or access to very little capital out there, you got to put the time in. There's no two ways about it. You just got to put the time in and go out to networking events or meetups or networking groups and join some networking groups and just get out there and meet people. One of my favorite lead gen tools in my MSP when I had it, there was a kind of free-ish lead gen tool, was the relationships that I built with line of business vendors out there. And what an example of that is we used to have one particular client that was a hospitality client, and they were one of Australia's largest hospitality groups. So they had POS terminals everywhere all around the place. And I ended up having, like, quite often, because they were rolling out new restaurants here and there, I would have to speak to their sales manager and the account managers and whatever at this POS place. And we developed a pretty close friendship just through that stuff. And then I said, hey, one day I'd love to take you out to dinner to learn a bit more about what you guys do and whatever. And paid for a really nice fancy dinner for it and whatever. And we really only just talked business. Like we just talked funny stuff that happens and we talked a bit about the client or whatever it was. But the reality is I built this relationship with this guy. Within weeks, I started having them referring me to their other clients out there. And it was because I'd just gone and built a relationship and said, hey, like, we know that we work really well with you guys. If there's anything else we can do to help, let us know. And they and then obviously when they gave us referrals, I was very thankful and I gave them gifts to show appreciation, whatever. But over the space of a year or two, they gave us easy 6 figures in clients out there just because I'd gone out and had like a dinner and said, hey, let's go and let's become like, let's go out and see how we can help each other out there. And that to me was, it's like a line of business vendor becoming your referral partner out there. And when you've got no time or no money to go and invest into some of these bigger things that require thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month, sometimes it might be best to just look across your vendors of your existing clients, find some that look really, that you get along with pretty well, and then just go and take them out to lunches and dinners and see how you can help each other's business and refer business to them. And then ideally they're going to refer business back to you. And every time I did that, it always resulted in that person sending clients our way like crazy, because they'd know that if they came and sent a client our way, we'd look after them. And so they'd look good, we'd look good, we'd get a client out of it. And so if I was an MSP that's starting up today and I don't have that budget for big direct response campaigns or direct mail campaigns or Google Ads campaigns, I'd be going and looking at my network, and I'd be going and finding line of business vendors and whoever it would be that is already serving the types of clients that I want. It might be copier companies or telco companies if you're not doing telco. It might be printed companies. It might be legal line of business app companies. It might be POS vendors like our instance. But whatever it is, I'd be going out and building relationships with them, because not only the good thing about when you go that level is that you're creating what's called a one-to-many to many scenario. And so those, if you're going out and you're getting, say, 5 to 10 of those, and you're working on those 5 to 10 to hopefully get referrals out of them, they're then going to be dealing with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hopefully your ideal clients underneath them. So instead of you having to go to those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, they can become part of your sales team out there doing the work for you, which is what happened to us. We had hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue come in from those deals that I used to go out and just focus on those, just building relationships. Of course, that's not scalable. And when you're running a business that's much bigger, you often then go, okay, now's the time to focus on things where I can throw a marketing team at it and I don't have to go out and pound the pavement like I was. And I can do all that direct mail or Google Ads a little bit more. But when you're getting started, relationships is the name of the game. You've got to get in there and just build those relationships and do that networking. And if you can do it in one-to-many to many instead of just one-to-many, it can be another layer of getting out there in front of people.
Fair enough. The key point here for me that stands out is how genuine you were about building that relationship, because more often than not, people develop that relationship expecting that, hey, I need this outcome from this person, or I need this outcome. If you're not genuine about how you build that relationship, you kind of know, right, when a person is expecting a transactional relationship versus a genuine one. So I think that's what stood out for me, because it's not that when you kind of took them out for dinner, or when you were serving the clients that you weren't expecting that, hey, I want them to refer me to other clients. Doing it genuinely, and referral just happened as a byproduct. Interestingly, Richard Tubb also kind of elaborated on this topic in SuperSummit, where he speaks about how to build partnerships to ensure that that becomes a big marketing engine for us. So for folks who are listening to this, do ensure that you check that out as well.
But do it with the right intention out there. As I said, obviously at our core, we're business owners and we're going out because we want to grow our business, right? But you got to do whatever you can to push that aside. And it's hard to, because we're always out there going like, how can I get more clients and what can I get out of this relationship? But the more you focus on being intentional about giving in every relationship, the far more you're going to receive in return. And so I remember in the early days, it used to, like, when people are talking about like referral marketing and whatnot, they're saying always like ask for referrals and ask for referrals and ask for referrals. And I've come across MSPs that have been told this whole thing, like always ask for referrals, and they're always going, but I never get any referrals. And I say, my first question to them is, when did you last give a referral? And they're always like, oh, well, never. And I go, well, give first, go out and give some referrals. Look across your current client base now and figure out who you can connect out there. Who in your clients at the moment could talk to one of the line of business vendors at one of your other clients or whatever. Be that connector first, and go and put that value in first before you ever try and take from that bank account. Go and put in the hard work first. Because if you just go out and you just meet some people and you say, hey, I need some referrals, hand me some referrals, you ain't going to get any. Like, you're going to be in that boat when everyone is that's wondering why they're not getting referrals when they're asking for them. And that's why you haven't put in the deposit into that bank up front to be worthy of taking anything back out.
Yeah. So, I completely agree with you. A book, again, one more book recommendation from my end. If you want to kind of adopt the principles that Nigel has said, it's the book called Go Giver. I think we discussed this in Tech Tribe as well.
It's over there on the shelf somewhere. Bob Berg, an awesome book. Richard Tubb's a big fan as well, and has had him on his podcast as well, which is awesome. Yes,
I love that book, and something that I personally try and implement in my personal and professional life. So I mean, so for folks listening in, do buy that book and read them and probably tell us whether you liked it or not. So Nigel, any closing thoughts? I think wonderful conversation. So any closing thoughts in case you remembered what you were about to say 5 or 10 minutes back?
Yeah, no, I haven't yet. I think it's like everyone talks about marketing the news, like looking for the new angles and looking for the new everything. And I think we're just got to go back to those points you made before, which the biggest one is just consistency in there. And you just got to, like, marketing is, if it's about nothing else other than consistency, that's what it really is about. Just picking a method and being really, really consistent with it. And that's kind of what I wanted. That point that I did want to touch on was that I was talking about before, was exactly that point. Like, if you look out across the MSP landscape, or even just the generic professional services landscape, like lawyers and accountants and doctors and whatever, if you're going to do marketing out there, go and pick what is working, like, especially if you're new at marketing. And I just wanted to reiterate that point, is go and pick what is working and just you figure out how you can make it work for you. Don't go and try and be creative in the first stages of starting your marketing career, because you will fail. You will fail 100% of the time. Go and lean on the shoulders of giants. As you said, Praveen, there is amazing talent on places like Upwork and all the freelancer sites, where if you want to go and figure out Google ads, I would, if I had an MSP and I had a little bit of money right now, I would be to go and put into the Google ads. I wouldn't be trying to learn it myself. I would be going and immediately paying the $100 an hour, $150 an hour, $200 per hour person on Upwork that's got all the experience to fast track me, to really say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And no, that doesn't work. This will work. This is what you got to do. This is what you got to figure it out. Because I want to get the result, the best results I can as fast as I possibly can. And by going out and trying to be creative and trying to not follow what other people are doing, you're typically going to fail unless you're really good at marketing. But most people aren't when they get started. And so when you get started, follow the trends, follow what people are doing, follow what they're getting results out of, reverse engineer it to work for yourself. Then when you've got some runs on the board and you're comfortable with marketing, you kind of get this intuition about what works and what doesn't work and whatever, then get creative. Then go out and go and do all these weird and wonderful things, like, I don't know, putting stuff in dance studio walls on the posters there, because you've got this really well-designed poster that looks kind of cool for a dance studio owner or whatever, which is, I use that as an example because someone came to me with it the other day. But go and do all that creative stuff after you've got success at the stuff that already works. And be consistent in that stuff that already works, to push past that hump or that dip or whatever you want to call it. The results are there. It's just 95 or whatever the number is, 95% of people don't push it far enough into the one method that does and is proven to work to get to the results.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I think if there's one takeaway, if I were an MSP, I would take away is be consistent with my marketing efforts. Outsource stuff that you're not good at, right? So you need not be good at everything. So it saves you time, it saves you money. The cost
saves
of making
you
a mistake. Yes,
saves you heartache and agony of just looking at something going, why isn't this working? And it's just like with IT, right? We're always telling our clients to outsource IT to us because we're good at IT, but don't outsource, go and outsource. And there's a difference between abdicating and actually getting someone to do your marketing for you. And so what you've got to do is, any business owner in the world, I'm a firm believer, still needs to understand marketing and still needs to know this marketing, so that when they're talking to a freelancer around a particular tactic, they know what they're talking about, right? So that you're not going to choose the wrong freelancer that's going to pull the wool over your eyes. And one of the training courses we do in the Tech Tribe is all about that, is just arming you with the basics so that you know what and how to talk to marketing people, to marketing experts out there. And then once you're out there, go and lean on them to do the work. Just like you've got your clients leaning on you to do the IT work, you lean on these other people to do that work. And you're at the top understanding how it all works and talking strategy with them, but not getting involved in the tactical side of things. Leave them to go and do all the tactical side of things. And then because you know about it, you know whether they're doing a good job or a bad job out there for you without the wool getting pulled over your eyes.
Yes, and money in the bank never lies. So that would be a direct signal to say whether your marketing is working or not.
Oh God, like everything else is a vanity metric. It all comes down to money in your bank. And I see, like, there's so many. I see tons of MSPs get. I'm going to call it scammed nearly, but it's not. It's the intent is for the companies is not to scam them, but it happens in that they go out and they find their local marketing company in their local area, and the marketing company goes, oh well, we believe that we're going to build you this $20,000 website or even this $10,000 website. And then we're going to do your social media and we're going to get all of these likes and all of this stuff. And you go, well, and all these MSPs sign up and go, yeah, I need an awesome website. Yeah, I need my social media to work and I need all of this stuff. And they go and throw 10, 15 or 5, 10, 15, $20,000 down. And all they got is a bunch of likes and a nice looking website. They don't have a client. And that's the thing, like real marketing results is just about getting clients. That's all it's about. Everything else is a vanity metric. Sure, there's metrics that go up and down the top of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel, like the CLTVs and LTVs and all that kind of stuff, and CACs, all those metrics are important, but don't get involved in the vanity metrics, like how many likes a social media company got you, because unless they can directly translate it to how many clients came out of those likes, then it's fluff. It means nothing out there. So 100% agree with you on that 1000%, Praveen.
Yes, perfect. I think I had a great fun chatting with you, Nigel. A lot of tactics, a lot of insights, a lot of random book suggestions. So I think our users are gonna have a ton to take away from, in case you folks are listening to this, do download the one pager that's right below this video to ensure that you go back to your desk, start implementing them, and be consistent with your marketing efforts, right? So that's one big takeaway for me. Thank you, Nigel, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hope it's helpful.